All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. We got game number 2 coming at you here for today, at least. Of course, and what are these best of ones from the group stages here? We are continuing on coverage. Fresh versus Team Who now in this best of one series. Of course, Fresh 1-0 currently. They're coming off their victory on Thursday over Willowkeeper, now known as Bad Monkey Gaming. And thus they are 1-0. Team Who, on the other hand, things haven't been going too well for them. They lost both to Shrek Love earlier in the week, as well as we just saw BMG just prior to this matchup here. So they are playing for basically their lives here in this event, even with the win here, not guaranteed, but mathematically at least there still is a chance. So might as well give it a good effort. Hey, if you possibly do come through with a victory, you never know what can happen. But that's where I'll start at. Again, it is a one-game series, so that's you could say an advantage for these underdog teams, if anything, trying to maybe catch the big dogs off guard. But no doubt Mint the favorite here in this best of one. With that said, I'm joined by the one and only Minnie once again. Minnie, welcome back. We got this matchup here. Now, I am noticing that Mint is not using their full roster. Zibe not here. Akamai actually in place of him, so that's worth noting.
Yeah, Akame.
Akami, okay.
Yeah, sorry, just the guys in my old team, so...
Pronounce it right, you asshole.
Yeah, come on, Breaky. Jeez. No, he's a good player. He plays a lot of different roles. He just one of those. He's one of those ringer kind of players who plays can play any kind of role. He's a good player. Know him quite well. He's actually English as well, Breaky. Did you know that?
Well then.
I know you do.
The UK representing.
Yeah, pretty much. But anyway, so back onto the draft though. Mint. Again, it's so crazy though. Like me personally, and I think a lot of other competitive players, well, they rate Tremble so highly, but Mint just one of those teams that just does not want to play it. But I guess they got Warbeast instead, so I guess they'll be happy with that for the time being.
Yeah, not seeing Tremble picked up on either side. Obviously not being banned initially. Dr. Swiftblade, Magnus, and Bubbles were the bans. Definitely very intriguing there, but as you said, just not wanting to do it really, well, not only for him, but of course Team Who as well. So both passing it up. We'll see if he gets banned here. I mean, he still is one of those heroes, like, you could see a team be like, okay, you know what, we'll run him here. So, but maybe not. Maybe both the teams just are not a fan of the hero for whatever reason. But the picks, obviously, Warbeast into Ophelia, Midas into Rhapsody, Cthulhu Font into Prisoner, 9-4-5 right here. So they pick up the Elephant. To go up against Ophelia here seems like a pretty solid, in a sense, kind of a counter to an extent. So they also got that Warbeast that they're going to be running with. Now, Zibe not here once again, so kind of wonder how they plan to run the Warbeast here. Could it possibly be a jungle Warbeast, you think, or will it likely be a lane? I guess they have Cthulhu.
I don't know. I'm a firm believer in Suicide Warbeast over Jungle Warbeast, and I think Cthulhu just, particularly our first nerfs to his that he got hit. I think he just works a little bit better in the jungle. Just in terms of Akame playing for Mint as well, he's actually a decent Warbeast Suicide player as well, actually. So I'd assume he'd be playing Suicide with this. So I assume so anyway. But yeah, and I think it's good as well because obviously if you play Jungle Warbeast as well, although I know some players like to build like Battlecry on Jungle Warbeast, you kind of want to build in the Primal Rage as well, but at the same time you want to have Battlecry actually skilled up, and you play him in lane, then you can always have Battlecry sort of skilled up if that makes any sense. So that's just from what I assumed it'd be Warbeast in the Suicide lane.
Well, we got the bans now following up here. Give us a little more information where things could be headed. Keep it the Forest, Glacius, Soul Reaper, Chipper, and Oogie so far taken. Only one more ban to go. This one on the side of Team Who. So we'll see how they finish off with. Again, Tremble. Okay, there you go. Tremble is finally banned. I was going to point out that's still not banned, but Team Who says it's too much of a risk. Let's go ahead and take care of the hero. The right click of the Vindicator over here. Seems like it's been a little bit since we've seen a Vindy, but Mint perhaps thinking of it as another carry option. Of course, Warbeast also brings plenty of that to the table. But so Akami, what role does he usually play?
Suicide.
Okay.
So that's why I thought it was going to be Suicide Warbeast. He can play jungle as well, but obviously with Zibe being out of action, I assume Akami's going to be playing Suicide. So yeah. So I can't wait to start trashing him when he misplays and things like that.
Dang. So. Serenia going to get his Kinesis here. That pickup right there. Again, I say that because they like to run it as a main support, and once again, they also do that very well. So Kinesis, a hero for a couple of teams that they like. So Soul Stealer is the response for Team Who. Getting a little bit of AoE synergy here with the Prisoner and and whatnot. But
It makes sense in the laning phase as well, because assuming that Warbeast will be played in the off lane or the suicide lane, Soul Stealer is going to have an easy time in that 1v1 matchup. It should easily be able to dominate that lane. So it makes sense, and it follows along their sort of lines as well, sort of team fight and push that Soul Stealer can fill that role. So I like it. Yeah, makes sense.
yeah, definitely takes advantage of the Hellhounds. Get a couple extra souls off of those if Warbeast isn't careful. So makes sense there. So now back over to Mint. How are they going to finish now? Again, you figure they already have what could possibly be a jungle Cthulhu Fontaine with a laning Warbeast. So
in Probus hero, yeah, I think.
They're carrying
yeah, I wonder what they're looking to do. I mean, obviously, you can tell from who that they want to group up and push and team fight around, like when Prisoner gets his blink, maybe around 15 minutes, for example. It depends whether Mint want to be able to sort of contest that or not. They've got Warbeast, so they can easily split push their way around when who start grouping up. And I think their carry hero could follow the same lines as well, but we'll have to wait and see. They've got good counter push with Minus as well to delay the push from who. And they go Madman, so yeah, like a very mobile hero that who are going to have a hard time sort of dealing with. Like, who are, with their sort of team fight, they're this sort of big, almost immobile tank kind of thing. So they're going to be like pushing down towers and grouping up as 5. So against like heroes like Warbeast and Madman, I guess they do have Prisoner. But they're still going to have quite a hard time to deal with that. So I assume that Madman will be in the short lane.
Yeah.
Go from there.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, not enough of a reason to not pick Madman, but, Prisoner with that shackle of his can obviously be pretty powerful against him, prevents him from using that stock ability. So, but, yeah, still a strong hero and, again, a good suicide option for them, or not suicide, but more of a possible carry. Yeah, short lane for Probusk. So I'm so used to seeing him suicide, but yeah, right. Probably see him on Probusk here. So. But I will say, I mean, that's a lot of physical threat that they're going for with their makeup here. Not that that's a bad thing, but
they do have Kinesis though and Midas, so it does kind of match
or
sort of balance out in terms of the physical and magic presence here. I think I fair that. I actually like that pickup though. They gives them some catch actually for the Madman and Warbeast. So for example, if Mint are gonna try and sort of split push their way and try and delay the sort of group up here in the team fights from who, at least they've got Pharaoh to try and catch as well as the Prisoner, Madman and Warbeast when they're split pushing, for example. So, yeah. Are they gonna? Oh, they're gonna run Probus actually, Warbeast then. So maybe Madman Suicide then. Are they gonna run Warbeast Kinesis short lane?
That would be interesting. Seeing a short lane Warbeast, prioritizing farm on him.
I remember when Stay Green used to do it though. Do you remember I think Jesse would be playing the Warbeast and then like Minuts would be playing Demented Shaman and then they go jungle with the Wolves with the like Demented Shaman Hill and stuff. It used to work. Obviously they don't have Demented Shaman in this game, so
okay.
I can understand it though. But yeah, so that Madman is going to be Suicide then, and the Warbeast will be short lane. It's interesting. It could just be because of the player roles, for example. Could be.
Yeah, no, Probusk gonna get his hands on the Warbeast, sure enough. So yeah, he is gonna head to the short lane here, and not often we get to see that. You pointed out, back maybe in Stay Green days, we saw it a couple times here and there, but gonna see how it performs in this case for Fresh, of course. So the double damage Prisoner skin picked up here by Team Who. Doesn't actually have a double damage rune, just looks like it. So, but no, but so going to be played, of course, on their side. And again, we talked about his potential and a couple of good reasons why that shackle will be pretty powerful here in this game, as well as the hook in itself. But Soul Stealer, though, maybe a little bit of that has to do, as you're talking about, with that Soul Stealer pickup. Pretty strong against a hero like Warbeast in the short lane against the long lane Warbeast. So I wonder maybe that had a little bit to do with it, where they said, you know what, let's just go with a stronger hero against the Soul Stealer.
Yeah, it makes sense though as well. I don't know, is Kinesis, are they going to like some aggressive dual lane? Or it might even be an aggressive pseudo tri lane actually, because Cthulhu looks like he's going to be trying to get aggressive. It makes sense though. Cthulhu is like, obviously you can barely never ever man up jungle against Ophelia, but in this case, obviously with Cthulhu, you obviously can instantly eat the creep from Ophelia. So it sort of reduces the impact of and the effectiveness of Ophelia jungle, for example. So yeah, it does look like they're going to run like an aggressive pseudo tri lane. And that's fun as well. Warbeast is going to be able to handle himself quite easily against Pharaoh, and they're going to try and pressure top as well. So, yeah, I like the way they're laning this. Like, Soul Stealer in a dual lane is just not very strong, and they want to punish that, so nice idea.
That is interesting. Running Serenia up here with the Kinesis, so gonna definitely look to punish it indeed, and so I'm Carry or Jim Carrey, excuse me, is gonna have some troubles here, more than likely, at least again that's the idea, especially earlier on again when he's trying to add up those souls. Now Serenia goes off to the side right away, and actually Cthulhu Font, he's in some trouble right here. He should be fine in the end, but yeah, he's gonna take a lot of damage potion to go back up, but yeah, there you go. He's back to easy. Uses the early miss. No, it did miss. So he's going to stay alive, or has the health push and keep going, I should say. And now Madman and Kinesis looking to turn things around. But now Prisoner is the party. What is going on here? We have a big fight in the Hellborn jungle. Soul Stealer charging in. He doesn't have Demon Hands, of course, level 1, but he will get the Bloodlust kill. Are you kidding me? Jim Carrey on Soul Stealer of all heroes here in the situation. He ends up getting the Bloodlust. And now Cthulhu Font, he's also dropping. He's tanky, but will he be tanky enough? It doesn't look like it. He dodges the hook, but it's only going to delay the inevitable. A double tap for Soul Stealer. Okay, wow. Not according to plan for Mint right there.
Yeah, definitely not. Just a really nice rotation, though, from Prisoner. The one issue is obviously now is that he's going to come back. Only 160 GPM, but it does secure the kill. I think it was just a little bit over-aggressive, yeah, from Mint. Like, they went really deep in the jungle, and who was like, yeah, we'll just bring 4 heroes and try and punish you, as they did. I think it looks a lot worse than it actually is, because Prisoner has been left the lane for quite a long while now. You know, Labyrinth's had his time in the lane. And they're only 500 or 450 gold behind, so it's an impact, but it's not as big as it once seems, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's, Soul Stealer, again, that's his weak spot early on, is, of course, he needs to get those souls added up, and, needs to get that earlier farm, but definitely can scale very well throughout the mid-game, especially against the snowball potential. So when you give him 2 hero kills off the bat, that's just, that's pretty scary here on the side of Mint. So already good start. Now, again, they are still running that aggressive dual lane, though, with the Mammon and Kinesis, of course. So as things continue to move on here, ideally, he will continue to not necessarily get the most farm, and the GPM will, of course, start to taper off. Once again, they go Cthulhu Font aggressive, though. So, again, this backfired on them earlier, but they're consistent with it, want to make sure to keep up the pressure. They're confident that this will work in the end, even though it didn't initially.
I mean, they're not actually that far behind, and the one thing you have to note as well is that they always do have this battle cry advantage that Probus is giving them. So I think even though they had a bad start, I think they're still doing fine to be this aggressive as well. So
yeah,
they got to trust their composition. Like, their composition is stronger. Like, Ophelia gets sort of countered by the Cthulhu plus Warbeat's battle cries is a big factor, actually. They might even try and pressure Soul Stealer up here as well. They can.
They're going to put some good damage out. A couple of trees come out. There's the Stasis Smash Trample. No, it's just out of range. The left side of it. If that hit, that was a kill. And now Cthulhu Font. He may drop right here. Rhapsody trying to finish him off. No, health pushing comes out. And he too will survive. But very good dodge by Soul Stealer right there. Spamming that right click as much as he could to get away from it. And he was just in time of Cthulhu Font. So you could also say maybe Iceland Gogo could have lined it up a little bit better. In fact, he's still not out of the woods just yet. He should get away, though, yeah. As Soul Stealer just going to keep in a couple more auto attacks, perhaps, but
that was actually pretty clutch play there from Akami. Actually, he actually gave the health potion over to Cthulhu.
Oh,
that's
did he?
Why it wasn't.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't actually Cthulhu's health potion there. So, nice play.
Yeah, good teamwork right there, and at least helping to keep him alive. Because that's the last again. It's you already gave him 2 kills. You do not want to give him a 3rd kill early on. That's not going as planned. So, Midas right there. It takes a little bit of pressure from Rhapsody going for the rune actually. I don't know, was that just a refreshment? Yeah, Regen Rune bought him. We'll see if anyone makes it there here shortly. Currently no one going for it, but the Legion team does have the ward aside exposing it, so Midas is going to head down there and bottle that one up right there. Warbeast, how's he doing at the bottom lane? I assume pretty well. 21-7 against an 11-2 Pharaoh. So yeah, Probosc doing pretty well. And I was gonna say, especially with him being in the lane, would that change anything up with his build? Do you think, or it looks like he's still going the Abyssal Skull?
No, it will still be the same build. Yeah, you have to. Obviously, you don't get as much effectiveness as the lifesteal in terms of the lane, but the Abyssal Skull on Warbeast is still so cool. So expect the same build regardless.
Yeah. Okay. You want to see like a Whispering Helm here? More minions. Who used to do that? Wasn't it like Slicks, I want to say, even, or somebody was pretty... maybe it was Jesse, actually.
Yeah. No, Jesse didn't do it.
He didn't do it?
No, Jesse didn't do it. No.
Somebody did that I recall. And it's, the idea is actually, in fact, a shout out to, there was actually a Reddit post on it. Some guy made a video on a Whispering Helm Warbeast. It was some pretty chaotic, like silly, over-the-top video, but the idea that, honestly, it can be something, because especially you get like a Minotaur, and again, it works with his passive, it works with his ultimate as well, so... It's not out of the question, I think it's safe to say.
The only problem is that if it dies, then it's like...
Yeah. No.
If
it dies, it's like, well, that's a long cooldown.
I mean, it kind of makes a tiny bit of sense, obviously, because the symbol of rage is actually a decent pickup from Warbeast as well, because obviously the strength bonus is going to be adding to damage, for example. But I just think the 1850 for a potentially item that could backfire is a little bit too risky. But it'd be kind of cool to see, don't get me wrong. And I think the item is kind of... It's one of those things that's like Staff the Master on Pebbles kind of thing. Like, if everything goes according to plan and it works, then it can be worthwhile, but it can backfire so easily. And because of that, it's too risky to pick up kind of thing. Because if it dies or the creep dies, then it's like, well, it's kind of sucks. And not only that, Ophelia's on the board as well, so she can just overtake it. So.
Well, that's a really good point. Yeah, so that's probably even the ultimate reason why you wouldn't want to do it here. Midas right there, he actually picks off Rhapsody going for that top rune against. This time it backfires. Well played by
he wouldn't do it anyway, but I was just saying, because with Ophelia on the board, he definitely wouldn't do this.
Yeah, no.
It would be cool to see that, don't get me wrong. I'm all for those kind of builds, but... Yeah. I mean, it only takes one person to do it and for it to work to actually become good or cool. So.
Oh, yeah, we've seen that plenty of times. Soul Stealer right here, he's going to be fine just off to the side using that Demon Hand. Again, he's got the 20 souls saved up right now. He's a level 3 Demon Hand, so he's maxed out on those souls here. For the time being, and about 290 gold per minute. Again, it was a lot higher early on because of the quick 2 kills that he got, but he's still managing. I mean, for a lane that's going up against him, that's the idea is supposed to lock him down. The fact that he has 290 gold per minute, I think it's safe to say they're pretty cool with that. However, his teammates aren't necessarily doing the best here. Prisoner not having the best of times, 260, it's not bad, but Pharaoh especially in a 1v1 matchup. I mean, I know it's tough, but he's not doing too well.
Yeah, well. I think the biggest thing is that with Solstier in the lane, his biggest weakness is that the first 3 levels, but obviously with those 2 kills, those first 3 levels, he was fine with kind of thing. So, he's like 400 GPM, but now he's got level 5, you can sort of spam out the creep wave, for example, and still get CS that way. So, he's still okay. Affiliate is rotating over, but they've got a ward just placed actually, so they should be fun, and they will be.
Where the site goes down by Hugo Bick right there, and getting that vision, but yeah, both Madman and Kinesis, as you pointed out, with their vision, and they are going to know what's up right here. Actually, they are sending some support. Cthulhu comes in, he misses the trample, though. No, he uses the hook him on the Skeleton King right off the bat, so we'll take that away. I think I got the net off initially anyway. Soul Stealer, though, he goes down. He got the nuke off on a Madman, not enough for the kill, though. Rhapsody trying to chase in here, get a kill herself with the auto attacks, but no, the stock comes through, and Rhapsody will also fall. 2 kills just like that in favor of Mint right here, and not much more Ophelia could have done. So even with the missed trample initially, it didn't matter. They collapsed, and that was a good bait right there coming out from Mint, definitely.
Yeah, just nice rotation from Cthulhu. And I like to see that this Cthulhu or aggressive jungle Cthulhu is still being very active kind of thing. Like sometimes you see aggressive junglers that, they jump in the jungle for the first 2 levels and they back out, but he's been here from the start kind of thing. But he might be in trouble now saying that.
Yeah, it's Iceland Go-Go. It's Caster's Curse, baby, kicking in right there. He got a little too confident once again. So I think it is a time where this idea of really playing aggressive jungle may just want to go into his own jungle for the time being and just at least pick up a little bit of farm here.
Yeah, I mean, the only problem with that, though, is that if he goes into his own jungle, then who have won this top lane, or they're going to start putting a lot more pressure and control in this top lane, because if Cthulhu does leave and go in his own jungle, then it's going to be like a 3v2 in the top lane. So Madman as well as Kinesis is going to have a hard time. Obviously, Soul Stealer has more control in the lane because of that as well. So it's questionable, but middle lane.
Middle lane, Prisoner, trample hits, and in comes the big burst from Kinesis. He goes down right there. The TP, whoever that was, eventually canceled. So Iceland Go-Go, again, seems like makes a foreplay, makes a big play. Seems like a little back and forth, up and down game for him right here. It makes a big one right there, and obviously upsetting up that kill, and what could possibly be a tower kill now. So yeah, your mindset of, maybe just keeping aggressive is the best route.
Yeah,
and clearly it pays off right there.
Definitely. One thing's for certain, this Pharaoh needs to get involved. He's been sitting down here for the last 10 minutes. I thought he was going to get level 6 and just rotate up and set up for a kill, but he's been sitting down there sort of CSing, and he's not really doing anything in this lane. He's kind of losing this lane.
Yeah.
If he was dominating Probust, then I could totally agree with it. But as seeing he's kind of not doing too much, he needs to get aggressive. His team are slowly falling behind, and Pharaoh is one of the best heroes to really set up kills in the early game. And unfortunately, he just hasn't. He's picked up Dust looking to be like he's trying to gank the Madman, but just hasn't put it into effect yet.
Bottom
And
lane.
now he might be dying.
Pharaoh's
so.
in some trouble, but he does have support nearby. They're going in right now. Right as Prisoner's coming as well. Pharaoh, Mummy Walls goes up. Drop right through, but there's Ophelia's touch. Can they turn this around? Warbeast is in that ulti form, trying to finish him off. But Prisoners here. Down goes Serenia on Kinesis. The 1-for-1 exchange, though, in favor. Yeah, you can safely say in favor of Mid. Not the biggest deal in the world, but the fact that the support was there for Pharaoh, at least they get a turn kill.
Yeah.
And something out of it.
I guess they try to gank for the Pharaoh, but I think, hook on to
Oh,
Warbeast,
no
but he should be
ulti
fine though.
form. Yeah, he should be good. Prisoner, in fact, needs to be a little careful.
I mean, I guess they were trying to gank for the Pharaoh, but it should be the other way around, I think. I think Pharaoh should be ganking for the rest of his team. Like, it's just one of the best heroes to really do that. And although I'm a firm believer in how bad Pharaoh is, he's so good in the early game. Like, and if you don't utilize the hero in the early game in terms of setting up kills, then it just seems very, very lackluster, and it scales kind of off. Oh, he scales very, very poorly kind of thing. So you need to be effective, you need to set up kills, and at the moment he just hasn't. So I'd like to see him get active, whether it be bottom, mid, or top. He just needs to look for kills, because otherwise this Pharaoh pick-off is just is not very useful, honestly. So.
Yeah. Yeah, going back to Iceland Gogo, Quincy pointed out the stat right there. He's actually 3-0 on the hero, and I do remember a performance, I think it's his last performance on it. It might have been in the Grand Finals.
Very good.
That was just fantastic with the stat line. And you see right there, 17 assists is what he averages in those 3 games. Pretty ridiculous. Only 3 kills and 3 deaths, though. It's kind of funny. But it makes sense with a hero like Cthulhu. He's not the bursty necessarily upfront damage going to be getting the kills. He's a lot of damage over time with the skill set, so.
And it's the setup and stuff like the sun is really useful. But yeah, I think it was the game on Thursday against Tree actually where he had a very, very dominant performance. Yeah, it was like, I think he was like, yeah, he's a really good player, and I remember playing against him as well. Like, he's Ophelia, he's very, very active, like very early on. Like level 1, level 2, he'll look for kills, whereas most Ophelias, try to get level 5, they maybe look to get aggressive. But he's just a very aggressive player, and it does suit the playstyle here of Min. So yeah, just a good player. So. See.
I gotta try to settle this once and for all. No, that's dang it, really?
What's this?
Just how to say Cthulhu font. I was trying to look it up here. get the voice going. Well, I'll find a way. I'll see what the internet says. I'll see what the internet says here. But
it's probably just the English or American version. I don't know. I have no idea.
It's just chat's like going off about it right now. It's just kind of funny. Anyways, I like to say Cthulhu font, and if I'm wrong, I don't care. Ha! So the Abyssal Skull finished on Warbeast here again with the Steam Boot. So Proboscis has kind of quietly been doing his own thing. 380 gold per minute again, a short lane farming Warbeast. So not surprising to see that here this early on in the game. And looks like, well, I guess it could be Brutalizer. Don't want to get too ahead of ourselves. And what do you think? Does he need the Shrunken here in this game, or is Brutalizer good for him?
Yeah, he'll definitely be strong in this game. Soul Stealer, I think the Soul Stealer magic damage is just too big of a deal not to pick up a Shrunken Head. Not only that, obviously the Hellflower from Pharaoh is going to be quite frustrating. Obviously the more monomies is going to be even more annoying, but yeah, I could see it makes sense. It's a safe build on Warbeast as well. Like, you don't really want to be impacted just from being sort of stunned or whatever. You want to have free mobility in team fight. So I could see Shrunken Head, but Brutalizer is still good as well. It's not like a must-have Shrunken Head game, but I still think it's useful. So yeah. But this is the push in the team fight from who as expected. And Min, I think they're doing the right thing though. They're split pushing. That's why they picked up the Warbeast in the first place. Obviously, Kinesis is pushing mid, and they've got Midas sort of spam out the wave as well to try and delay the push here from who. So, yeah, Mint are doing the right thing. I don't think they're strong enough just yet to look to defend these team fights here from who. Even though they're ahead by like 3,000 or 2,000 gold, or 3,000 gold and 2,000 experience, like one bad team fight can turn into a couple more towers and just complete snowball from there. So, playing it safe, they're just split pushing, and they've got the heroes to do so. So, playing just efficient way.
So yeah, Ophelia's touch was used right there. I don't know if it was necessary. I mean, Prisoner probably would have lived there, but just in case to keep him alive, and maybe for another reason too. But Soulstealer going the Energizer first here. Now his farm again, 375 gold per minute, so Jim Carrey has gone back up once again. And you see right there the stats. Soulstealer hero that can get great farm, but he also needs it as he passes that 50% win mark around 550 gold per minute. Yeah, that's kind of interesting that, under 550 GPM, his win rate definitely tapers off quite a bit. So really needs that high mark here. And, it kind of makes sense to me that he is that snowballish hero, the mid-game carry hero. Now, late game, sure, he can have a presence, but, you know, safe to say he's not on the top tier list.
Yeah.
As far as late game potential goes. So wants that farm in the mid game, going into the mid game, working off of that. But yeah, Energizer first. You see where he's thinking with that.
Yeah, I think he's going to go Portal Key after as well. I think Nullstone would be a little bit going against what the team makeup is here, of who like they're looking to get aggressive, looking to take team fights. Nullstone is more of a defensive and farming item kind of thing, because it obviously gives them the right regen, for example. And I think Portal Key would be a little bit more useful just for setting up team fights, for example. And that's why I expected him to go next.
Yeah.
But yeah, Energizer makes a lot of sense though. Just needs an extra bit of stats. Really useful.
All right. See when that comes out. You got both Cthulhu and Midas, actually. Portal Key is probably going to be coming out for them shortly. Deny at the top lane. You see Midas was up here trying to get that tower kill, but missing it, and that will prevent his Portal Key for the time being. No, he gets it anyways. Just enough gold for it. And he picks it off from the side shop right there. So, Labyrinth here. He's almost got his level 3 transmute, remember, too. Because he gets it at the level 12 mark, so a lot more damage potential coming out of that as well. And he's going to be at his top tier point, you can safely say, hitting that level 12 mark. Not a lot of heroes will like that. Of course, he's one of, well, 2, I believe it is. Madman, in the meantime, he goes down. He was chain stunned right there. Well played by Ophelia, especially.
Yeah.
Locking him down with the minions right there. Again, using that micro by Shortcon.
Yep. And the dust was used from Pharaoh as well, so just he had that in his inventory for a while. But I like to see him get active with it. I was trying to look for kills, and he does. So and they look to probably take down bot tower as well, most likely. I know they're going to back off though. None of his team are with him, so
yeah,
better play it safe. But yeah, it's a good kill.
He's 3,000 gold, 3,500 experience lead from Mint. So Team Who, you know, again, last game against BMG, not going as planned, and things fell apart pretty quickly. This time around, they're competing pretty well. They had the early start, and definitely still a game that they are in, most certainly, against being the underdogs here, you can safely say, against Fresh. So it's good to see that out of them and doing some good competition, and we'll see if they ultimately are able to pull out this tough uphill battle here. But there's the Portal Key on Soul Stealer, so again, that's a good start, as well as Prisoner. Let's see if things can now come together for them. I mean, they got the 2 Portal Keys here. Is it safe to say if you're Who, you'll look to make things happen now, really get aggressive on the secondary towers?
Yeah, I think before they look to get grouping up, they need to push out lanes though, because Mint are going to be really utilising the split push from Wolfbeast. Although he does have a strong head now, so maybe Mint want to defend. But regardless of Who, should definitely group up and take team fights though, because they've got the lineup to do it. Bottom lane.
Yeah, down here we go. A little bit of action coming out. Mummy Wall goes up, locking down Cthulhu Font initially. Gets trampled off though. Out of the Mummy Wall, trying to put the Obliterate out onto Pharaoh, and he too will go down. No support for Pharaoh. I mean, he had other plans, but as soon as they saw the TPs coming, you see Prisoner and Rhapsody, they just turned around. We're like, yeah, we're not interested in that.
Just a little bit of poor execution, honestly, because they were looking to sort of group up and push down bottom, but Soul Stealer wasn't with them, and neither was Rhapsody and Prisoner. Like, they were off in the jungle when they got jumped down bottom. Nice kill middle lane, but yeah, like if you play this sort of push and team fight kind of thing, you have to make sure. Oh, good hook.
Yeah, not enough.
It's not going to be there. Like you have to make sure that you're S5 though, because if you're not S5, then obviously Mint just took advantage of it. They knew like they had the numbers advantage, and even though they don't have the greatest team fight team, as of just right now, they still took advantage of it because they had the numbers advantage. So yeah, they backfired a little bit just because they weren't S5.
All right, I think I found a site that could help us here. Let's. You won't be able to hear it, but I'm going to see here. Oh, come on, just say it.
Cthulhu.
Oh, this thing is stupid.
Cthulhu.
What's it say?
Cthulhu.
Cthulhu font. It's a bad site. It's hard to. It sounds like it's saying Cthulhu font like that, but
it makes
anyways.
Cthulhu though. It makes a lot more sense because the TH is like the th sound.
Yeah,
it's not like you don't say you don't say TH kind of thing.
Could just call him elephant. Oh, that was a misclick by Rhapsody. Happened to be on him when he did it. He was trying to transfer the courier. You could tell, yeah, probably doing like a shift R kind of deal or something, trying to send the courier back, and he accidentally hit R right there. And as a result, popped his ultimate. Meanwhile, in the middle lane, though, Pharaoh's in trouble. Mummy Walls are out, but obviously they're collapsing on him once again, and he goes down again. He's one of the stand-ins. He is the stand-in here today for Team Who. So. And apparently this is actually the first game we have on record of him, so making his debut here today, and it's never an easy thing, especially against BMG now Mint here, so quite the opponents, but he's doing it, he's trying, man, he's trying, so you got to start somewhere, we all did. This tower, though, middle lane, it's going to fall here most likely, and they're going to defend it, though, they want to. Oh, he tried to deny it, but it just wasn't in time. Gets the pull on the Madman, though. Shackle comes out. Soul Stealer here as well. Puts the Demon Hand out. But Soul Stealer, he gets trampled immediately. Stasis Smash goes out, and he goes down. Yeah, Solstier, they're way too greedy right there with that portal key. He acted like he had a shrunken head as well already. He did not.
Oh.
Nice pull, but no, the trample out right away. But Solstier, you can't be doing that this early on in the game with no shrunken head.
Yep, definitely. Particularly not if there's like no sort of backup from like the prisoner or like even the Rhapsody protected melody, for example, because it was actually used on the ancients. So, yeah, just unfortunately it didn't happen. But Mint, yeah, they're taking over this game at the moment, and it's going to be very, very hard for Who to get back into this game though, because they've kind of went with this all-in sort of strategy. If you remember, it's very, very similar to what Mint had in Game 1 of the playoffs against BMG or Tree back in the playoffs, as they were called. You know, they've got all this sort of team fight and push lineup, and if they lose a couple of team fights, if it gets, you know, in sort of the later stage of the game, which it is now, Mint just have the better lineup to really cater for that. They can farm better sides of the map, they've got better catch, they've got better mobility as well, and they've got better late game. And Who, unfortunately, they've missed their timing, so it's going to be hard for them to get back into this game now because, you know, they haven't really been able to pressure or push too much with this lineup, unfortunately.
Yeah. And, you know, obviously a big thing to note, too, Solstier, of course, of death, it cuts his souls by, I believe it is half, if I'm not mistaken. Or no, that's been changed around a bit. Anyways, the point is that, lose half your souls. Okay, so it's at 20 currently, so 40 is the max, of course. So he needs to add those back up now to not only make his auto attack strong, but, of course, his ultimate with that soul burst of his. And he's going to have to go to the top lane right here, so he might not have maximum souls. They want to defend the secondary tower. That's worth keeping in mind. Prisoner goes in with the prison break right off the bat. Warbeast, he gets away, though, even being physical. He's able to get out of range and from pulled back in. There's no kills just yet. Hooking. No! Midas gets away with the port right there, and now it's time to be aggressive on the side of Mint. Pharaoh's going to be the first casualty. You see Soul Stealer again, learning his lesson from last time. He's not going to go YOLO right here as he gets back to the base. So Mint gets the easy kill, but again, you got to kind of question, what is Team Who trying to defend a secondary tower for when you're still working on some big items here? It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So it's things like that, you know, comes with experience over time. And
yeah. It's not only that, though. It's quite annoying when they play this kind of, or for themselves, it must be quite annoying that they pick up this sort of team fight and push lineup, and they're actually having to defend their own towers. Like, they should be the ones making the aggressive moves. They're the ones that should be getting aggressive. But obviously, they had to play reactive, Hon in that respect, and didn't work out too well.
Warbeast, I feel like we haven't really talked a whole lot about Probusk here, but he is just coming along, well, just dandy. Has a shrunken head, the Soul's Bulwark now, nearly another 2,000 gold saved up. He is farming 530 gold per minute after all. Again, this was a short lane Warbeast if you're tuning in late. One of the rare times we've seen that, but Probusk, and again, so understandably that he's having this great of a start, especially now. See a nice start right here, actually blocking the Ancients with the Ward of Sight placed by Hugo Bick, and then wonder if Probusk will pick up on that right away. Bottom lane, Pharaoh, he gets, well, ganked once again. The portal key initiation comes in. Take him out, and then I think Kinesis. Oh, I thought he was going to buy a portal key right here, but he actually ports back to base before. He'll just buy it back at base, because why not? So he has a portal key now too. So that's 3 portal keys on the side of Mint, and then you got Warbeast and Madman are going to be there to follow up, of course, with their speed especially. So this is coming together really nice for Mint. You see at the top lane, Jim Carrey on Solstice really needs to finish that Shrunken Head. He might have actually, I think he still needs at least one more component. This is not going to help, though. He's going down right here. He's going to get ported back, though. So they realize that right off the bat, so they just changed their attention to Ophelia. So Solstice there will be fine. Good sacrifice there in a sense from Ophelia. She goes down. But, again, pushing a secondary tower like that with only the 2 of you, it's going to be risky, and that's a clear example of why right there. So good reaction from Mint, but it goes back. Excuse me. There it goes back to Team Who, though. It's, you know, why are they trying to make these? Why are they making these decisions basically? Going a little over the top sometimes.
They're just getting a little bit desperate, obviously. As I said, they missed their timing a little bit, unfortunately. And so they're just trying to play aggressive, hoping it's going to work out well. But obviously, they're there to punish it, and as they did in that scenario there.
Yeah. Soul Stealer finishing off the Ancients. Something tells me he has the Warhammer. He's just trying to get the pattern blow up so. Wait and see. 421 gold per minute.
Yeah, you'd assume so. He's got pretty decent GPM, so.
No buybacks or anything like that, so yeah. Feels like that should be coming, but we'll find out here shortly if it is. Worst case, he needs 2,900 gold in total, and so obviously a little bit of waste from that.
Yeah,
okay, there you go. Yeah, so he has it now, and that's big, of course. I mean, we saw earlier in the game where he tried to jump in without it, and I mean, he just got crushed because he got stunned right away. And then the follow-up damage happened. Now with a Shrunken Head, that'll change. That'll change for sure as you see this Legion team, you know. Not a whole lot of physical crowd control. obviously. So that's going to prove to be a pretty big pickup, I'm sure, for them. Warbeast, okay, yeah, this is actually a pretty good catch right here. And will they have the damage? Follow-ups and questions. Soul Stealer comes in. Farrell's the one taking a lot of damage. See the Sharknado goes up from Warbeast. Gonna try to wait for that to wear off. Nice protectability. Will save Farrell in the long run, at least for now. But I think in the end, he is gonna go down to the mullet right there. Soul Stealer, though, Sharknado gonna be used. They do kill off Warbeast as well as Kinesis. This is a big fight chance for Team Who. There's another kill coming up for Soul Stealer, and he's chasing even further on the Madman. Probably not gonna get him killed, or maybe actually trying. Oh, what a hook right there from Slaske! And down goes Madman. A double tap for Jim Carrey. That was not an easy hook, man. And he somehow hit that. And now they're going for Congar. Well, well, well. Team Who says, we're still in this, baby.
Yeah, definitely. Just nice, but nice catch onto Probus. Like, I think Probus was a little bit too greedy, was trying to farm the enemy Ancients, obviously, who they had vision, and they took a good team fight. Mint then had to rotate over, and they weren't really in a good position to take that team fight, and who they really did punish it and capitalise on it. That striking in on Soul Stealer, though, was really a big impact in the team fight. They're taking Congo now as well, so yeah, they're definitely holding into this game.
Token of life on Soul Stealer, I would assume at least, going to be pretty big here, to say the least, for Team Who now. Oh, let's not get too ahead of ourselves. Get through the fun. Iceland Go-Go trying to make the big steal right here. Will they get it? Look at that burst coming over to the end. Iceland Go-Go, he gets it. He gets it right there. Oh my gosh, that's got to be a blow to the ego man of Team Who right here. Pharaoh's going to fall, and just like that, it's like all the work that they just had kind of just taken away from them. Down goes Rhapsody. Obviously the token used, but that's really not the biggest deal in the world. The fact that they stole it in the first place is the big deal.
Just two people. That's so
yeah.
sick. That's so manly. But yeah, nice play from Iceland Go-Go though. Pretty clutch with the stun and the steal.
And again, you just saw Kinesis. Look at the damage charts, man. This is a main support Kinesis. This is why they run it.
Yeah, like, it's just kind of crazy though how like a support can do that much damage. They do it more than the Warbeast and the Madman, who are both cores, which is just funny to see. Like,
yeah.
Like crazy.
Yeah, it's getting to that point. I mean, people are starting to respect Boxy's Kinesis, especially as of late. You might want to start respecting Serenia's Kinesis and that main support option here. And also, to that, you know, maybe other teams should start picking up on that. I know it's not the, and you know, Sync has definitely done a couple times here and there. It's not like the rarest thing in the world, but maybe make a little more of a point to go for. But anyways, meanwhile in the middle lane, you see the Miller-X goes down. Cthulhuphon, he's taking some good damage on the front lines. Pharaoh going for a Madman in the back on Soulburst goes out. And Cthulhuphon will end up falling. Protected Melody, a little bit early of use right there, but it will keep his team alive for the time being. Look at Warbeast, though. He just doesn't give two shits. He's in the front line. Sharknet is going to wear off, though. And he will need to think about getting back as well as the ulti form, of course, laying off. And actually, Team Who, they may get a couple more pickoffs here. The first one being on Kinesis, which they get. And that should be the end of the road. So, you know, a little strong finish there, at least for Team Who. But, again, the melee Rax is, of course, killed off, and that's what they came for in the end. So, but hell, Geometer's being going to be finished on Soul Stealer now. I mean, again, this game isn't over just yet, and Team Who is still definitely fighting here.
Yeah,
and
having
even
a
with
lot
that
better showing. Sorry. But, yeah, a lot better showing than the games against Tree, so they're doing decent, and I think it's the Wombo sort of team combo as well. They've got obviously the Soul Stealer plus the Prisoner. It's definitely something to be feared from Mint. They can't overextend, which they did actually bottom lane or mid lane.
They're going for Warbeast. Yeah, Prisoner comes in here again. Will they have the damage? Is the question. Warbeast, he does have multiform, pops it right there, gets hooked in, but Prisoner, he goes the other way. Yeah, he doesn't want to have any of that.
Oh,
and now he's trying to run. This is going to be close. Soul Stealer comes in, puts out a couple of demon hands. You see the Sharknet, though, popped, and down goes Prisoner. And actually, Soul Stealer, Midas was chasing him. Couldn't get the transmute off, though. And he will be fine. So, yeah, Prisoner, that hook in. It's a good thing he did the portal key initially, but it still wasn't enough to actually get away right there. So, yeah, it was a good attempt, but they just didn't have the damage follow-up. And, you know, obviously fair catching, but he's not going to put out the most damage. He's relying on his teammates to follow up. And right there, that just wasn't the case, so.
Not a big Pharaoh fan breaking, as you know.
Oh, we know.
This is why, like, he just doesn't scout too well. Like, you compare this Pharaoh to, like, a Madman, for example. Yeah, he's, you know, it's good in the early game, but Pharaoh, he didn't really able to find a lot of picks in the early game. Oh, nice hook onto Warbeast.
Yeah, but again, he pops the ulti get away. Pharaoh will hook him in the back on Mummy Walls, goes up, but in the back on his team, though, getting disintegrated right there. Soul Stealer pops the Soul Burst, but a lot of Shrek heads were already up, and you see the Legion team, they're not really feeling it too much. Double buyback, we do see right here, Prisoner, his final buyback coming out. And why the hell not? Because this could be the final fight if they're not careful. They're the final in the backlines, put the trample out. They are just completely clustered right here. And Solstice, they're definitely feeling that. He's standing his ground some way. He will actually portal key away, and they will survive. Midas goes down. All right, so maybe Mint getting a little too focused right there, diving into the base. And actually, Team Who does hold again. No more buybacks left on Prisoner, but it's still a case of you're still in it. It's Solstice there. He needs to be a little careful there, but yeah, he gets back, going to be fine.
Prisoner nearly killed Wolbeast actually. Wolbeast was TPing away, but
oh really?
Just it was like literally mid animation with his hook and the TP, but yeah, it gets away in the end. Yeah, I mean, they're definitely holding in there. The one question or one thing I'm worried for them is they're scaling into the late game. They're still fighting against Wolbeast and Madman, and going into the late game, it's very hard to deal with that. I guess they have a Solstice who's farming pretty decently, I guess. He's going to need to dish out a lot more physical right-click at the moment. He's going Geos, which I think is fine. But I think he needs some raw right-click for his next time. Perhaps Savage Mace, even Rift Shard, just something that will get through this sort of tanky lineup here from Min, particularly when they pop their Shrug and Ents. They need someone to deal with physical presence, and that's got to be the Soul Stealer. So I really hope he goes like Savage Mace or Rift Shard's next item after the Geos, because he needs damage, because the Shrug and Ents from Wolbeast and Madman are doing too much at the moment in the team fights.
Yeah, we're seeing that definitely. The Shrug and Ents go up, and it's like, well, what can we really do? You know, need that right-click physical presence. Again, Prisoner, he definitely brings that, especially with that change to his passive. He has potential to do some pretty good damage with those right clicks. True. Now, usually we see something like an Insanitarius. Now, Soul's Bulwark obviously is still good to have and understandable for the team. Nice portal use right there to get away from Midas as he was going in to try to jump in, but make him pay for sitting around for that top rune. In fact, speaking of the rune, 32-minute mark on him coming up right here, and this could be a big one depending on what it is. Something like a double damage rune at this point of the game, pretty impactful. Looks like it's going to be Invis. Definitely, again, has potential. So I will say, not a whole lot. In fact, I don't think any Veiled Rot used this game at all from either team. So not really taking advantage of it.
I know Iceland Gogo has been, actually. He's set up a couple of kills with it.
Yeah.
He's actually a firm believer in that, though. And I like that, though, because I think like the Veiled Rot is less... I mean, obviously it's good for when like a team uses it as well, but I like just the single use of it kind of thing. It's very... catches the enemy team off guard, because obviously it's only one person missing off the map, gets you past sort of enemy wards and sets up some aggressive ganks. So, and he has been doing it, but we just haven't caught it.
Bottom lane, you see they're pushing it now. Pharaoh actually gets a level 1 puzzle box. And, I don't know if I'm a fan of that this game, because I want to say, honestly, the barbed armor makes more sense to me this game.
Yeah. I mean,
but
puzzle box level 3 on Pharaoh is like...
it's good,
probably the only item. Yeah, I think it's like one... It's not good. It's great, to be fair. It's a really, really strong item. I think that's the only item that makes him like half decent, to be fair. Like, barbed armor is obviously good, but... I think in this game, actually, Barbed Armor would have been better than the puzzle box. It's just because he needs something like an item that will be useful right now. Because puzzle box level 1, level 2 is kind of crappy. Puzzle box level 3 is amazing. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think he's even going to be able to farm that before this game could be already over. So.
Yeah, I think it's Barbed Armor is an interesting item too. It's a survivability item in the sense that people don't want to attack you obviously when it's up. So, and the idea that we've seen this several times in this game. I mean, he's doing the right thing where he's hooking Warbeast. He's been doing a pretty good job of that, getting the Mummy Walls up. Of course, that's what you want to do in these team fights. Having that Barbed Armor will make a point. Not only do you hook him and do that, but it'll prevent you from dying because ideally, or if anything, Warbeast will do a lot of damage to himself. But we see where these times where he hooks him and puts him in the Mummy Wall, Warbeast is like, okay, I'll just right-click you to death, and Pharaoh just dies shortly after. So that's and I agree with you too, definitely. The idea that this, because of how this game has gone, he just got in the level 1 puzzle box now, 32 minutes in or so to this game. Level 3 is where it really is actually a pretty impactful item, and so it's going to be time before he even sees that, if he sees that. Meanwhile, Prisoner not going to see life much longer because he is in trouble right here, and going to be, ended up killed in the end. So Labyrinth getting credit for that. That's we saw it earlier too, going for the top rune, and just unfortunately wasn't able to get it in time, and Mint there to react. So well played on their part. You look at Warbeast though, demonic breastplate, the brutalizer. I mean, he's definitely come together. He's at a very scary place here if you're Mint here.
Definitely. And they need, or who need a carry to really go toe-to-toe with them. And obviously it's going to be the Soul Stealer. Like, I think actually at the point of the game where he needs to just man up and just go Doombringer. I know it sounds pretty ridiculous, but Savage Mace, I don't think he's going to do enough for him in terms of raw right click. He needs. I don't know if he's even going to be able to farm Doombringer, to be fair, before Mint try and push for the win. But if he can farm it and then Doombringer, I think it makes a lot more sense because they need something like really crazy to get them back into the game because they are very far behind.
Top lane, they catch Soul Stealer. Okay.
No, yeah.
There's the port back. Yeah, they're baiting him out right there. See what they can make happen. But yeah, the Nobe's Wisdom on Ophelia. I don't even know if we really brought that up, but that's kind of interesting there. Not your everyday item, of course, but feeling necessary here. I mean, they don't have an Abyssal Skull, or they're bringing the Teacher for that matter elsewhere, so makes sense when you think of it that way. They're trying hook. No, actually, almost hit Warbeast right there, but just at the range. Pharaoh has the angle, but again, doesn't want to go too far. It's scary. Oh, he's going to try. I'm not sure what
really
that
nice
was
play.
Supposed to.
Probus blocked it with these Hellhounds.
He was keeping them in front, so I mean, but that was obvious though. So that's why I'm kind of looking at Pharaoh like, why even try for it? I mean,
they were invis though. I don't think he saw him.
Oh, that's fair. Okay, no, that's a really good point. I'm sitting here as a what a noob, man. I mean, they were obviously there. I forgot we had God Vision. Yeah, that's true. Okay, so apologies.
It's a pretty impressive play though from Probus though. Micro now. It's not the easiest thing to do. Like obviously, if you're like under pressure, for example, make sure that they're in behind you. So nice play there. Who actually have decent counter push though with the Soul Stealer, Prisoner, and as well as the Pharaoh. They just spam it out as they do. Mint, they can just wait till next Congo though before it happens. So it gives Soul Stealer more time, but he needs to go Doombringer, man. Like, I'm not saying it because it's just an exciting mind, but like, he needs to do it because Savage Mace is not going to do enough, I don't think. They are like 12,000 gold behind. If they have like raw physical damage from this Soul Stealer, maybe they could do something. Like he'd be hitting for like nearly 500 if he goes Doombringer, man.
Yeah.
It's very greedy, but I think it's needed, man. Really needed.
It does feel like one of those cases of you just need something big here, and well, it doesn't get much bigger than a Doombringer, that's for sure.
Definitely, go big or go home, man.
Yeah.
That's what he needs.
Why not? Why not exactly? So, again, it's probably not going to see it just because it seems like the mindset is as much as I agree with you. He goes whispering. That's just not going to do it.
That's even worse. What is that going to do? He cannot go toe-to-toe with Probus anyway. Like, even if he has, like, perhaps even Symbol, I don't think he can go toe-to-toe with him. As well as the Madman and then the Sheep. Like, he just needs damage. Like,
yeah, they're playing way too defensive here with their items.
Yeah, definitely. They're smoking up, though. They're trying to go for a kill.
Try. I mean, you see Willowkeeper or BMG, neither one of those teams. Mint is over here. They're doing Congo, and by the time now, this could actually work. I mean,
they got vision. They got vision of it as well.
This is big. This is huge. In fact, they're going to run the Cthulhu bot though right off the bat. Soul Stealer, that was a very slow reaction on his part, though. And now he's taking burst. Nice protected melody right there, as well as the Storm Spirit, keeping him alive initially. He pops the Soul Burst and goes off again. Shrunkenets were up, though, and they're spread pretty far. Meanwhile, though, Cthulhu Fun, he's feeling in the background. Warbeast, he's going nom with the right clicks here. As Soul Stealer, he's starting to feel the damage now. As the Shrunkenet has ward off, Warbeast just sitting on top of him. Not much you can do about that. He's out of ulti form. Brutalizer proc. There's the pullback for Prisoner. Will save him initially. Can Serenity finish him off? No, it cannot. The lifesteal was just enough, and some way, somehow, Team Who's winning this fight. Unbelievable. Did no one die? No, nobody died.
And you missed it as well. Pharaoh hooks in onto Warbeast, and then Prisoner hooks Warbeast away from Congo. Yeah. Pharaoh picked up the token. Oh my God,
he did.
Insane.
Oh my God, he did.
He hooks Warbeast, got the Congo kill, and then Prisoner hooked him out as well, and then Pharaoh got the token. That was insane play.
Holy crap.
And after that Prisoner played so well as well, saved the Soul Stealer from hooking Warbeast back into him as well. This Prisoner, man, really clutch plays. Really, really clutch plays. And yeah, who are still somehow in it. Like, the team fight is still there because Mint, they were a little bit split off. Like, Probus was trying to finish off Congo, for example. Then Clutch wraps ELE as well, and the Storm Spirit from Ophelia. And now who? Look at him. They're still in this game, man. It's just ridiculous.
The Veiled Rot was genius by them. Now, the initiation was pretty awful, obviously, with Soul Stealer at least. I mean, he got jumped. He was slow to react right there. He didn't even realize I didn't think it came out of him initially, and it was looking like it was going to be horrendous. But you're right. I mean, I was focusing on Soul Stealer because, again, he's obviously the big target for them, but I'm glad you caught that because, holy crap. Apparently, Prisoner and Hell Pharaoh obviously give him credit, too, picking up the token. and stealing
So
it from
clutch.
us. Look, so clutch across the board. They push the bottom lane in. The tower's still alive, of course, but Team Who, how about that? Double damage. Rune also spawning right here. So, again, though, it does. I know, yes, the lifesteal obviously helped keep him alive there in the end, but if he had bigger damage on him, and they would have died quicker, to be fair. So,
Without no. Lifesteal done barely anything that whole team. But like when he was going to sort of pro bus, he was running away. Like
Yeah.
that just shows that Lifesteal would do nothing. The only reason why he survived was because Prisoner were doing some big
Prisoner,
hooks, sort of,
yeah, you mentioned the hook at Congo, or he hooked away Warbeast as he was just
exactly.
about to kill
Exactly.
Soul Stealer. So yeah,
pretty close.
making a couple of
Pretty
clutch plays right there. Now I assume, I mean, he went the Whispering Helm. Now, okay, so he's going Wingbow now. I just like, why not a Savage? Why not a?
Yeah. Bring up.
He's
not
playing
Doom Bringer,
so
he doesn't-
defensive here.
He does not need Doombringer now. He's still in the game right now, so Doombringer would be a little bit too YOLO to be fair. Yeah, like he just needs damage because, like, who's dishing out damage? Pharaoh's not dishing out damage. Prisoner is not really dishing out damage. Obviously, neither is the Philly, neither is the Rhapsody. This whole team, if they're going to take team fights, it's just to protect the Soul Stealer, for example. And if that's the case, then the Soul Stealer has to be the one dishing out a lot of damage, and he's not. He's gone this snake bracelet into like Whispering Helm, which is so defensive. They need raw right click, as I've mentioned time and time again before. They've got so many ways to protect him as well, so he can get aggressive. He can go the glass cannon build. He's got the Storm Spirit from Ophelia, obviously the Raps EOE plus all these hooks from Pharaoh and Prisoner, keeping him alive. But yeah, I mean his item build was very good up until the Whispering Helm and Snake Bracelet. I really liked what he did with like the Geos into the Shrunken Portal Key Energizer, but before that, Break It,
Yeah.
just
Part of
like,
me, yeah.
I was just saying, like, if you're the carry hero, you have to be the one dishing out the most amount of damage. Obviously, he is at the moment, but it's only 3% behind Pharaoh, and Pharaoh does not dish out damage, so you need to be dealing more than 60%.
You know, I can kind of see where they are coming from at the same time. You know, hey, it worked last fight, going this more as a defensive style. So if anything, that's on their mind. You know what? Why go away from it here? Now, and again, the idea of the wing bow, especially since it looks like, at least for the time being, I mean, no one's going a Savage Mace. A Frostal Skull is going to be happening here on Warby. So that makes a little bit more sense there, I think it's safe to say. So, but yeah, the Whispering Helm, the eventual similar Rage. I mean, if he gets that with the wing bow, with the items that he currently has,
I think it's just like I think Similar Rages is a fine pickup this game. It's just the order he's done it is a bit weird. Like he's gone like this lifesteal kind of thing, and it's like you need damage before you can really get lifesteal, because otherwise you're not going to get too much effectiveness out of the lifesteal. But I mean, I'm only criticizing him this much though, because they're still in this game. Like Charmy, which is still ridiculously because Mint were looking so good, but now the game is very more competitive. You know, you can criticize more and more.
I wonder what Prisoner's planning to get here. He bought a broadsword, yeah.
Just they need damage, man. They need physical presence.
Could it actually be Rift Shards, you think?
I think it makes sense. Like when he pops the ulti, the hook, and
he hits hard. Yeah,
he has like 120% base damage. I know. Yeah,
could be 90%.
It's 90. Yeah, I can't.
Can't use the passive. Yeah.
Yeah, like 90% base plus the Rift Shards. I think he's going to be hitting for like what, maybe 280, 300 nearly, plus that with Rift Shards crits. Like he's critting for like 600.
Yeah,
or
he has
so,
a demonic too, so he's attacking fairly fast.
Definitely, I think Rift Shards would make sense. Like what else is going to Assassin
That
Shroud?
does also make Assassin Shroud, but
which makes no sense. So Rift Shards would be a lot better pickup.
Well, okay, so back on the Legion side here, we got a couple of pickups. We mentioned the Frostal Skull going on Warby, so. You could look at that a little bit, and we're sitting here kind of criticizing Soulstealer, maybe going a little too defensive. Honestly, is Frostal Skull the best option here for Warby? Should he have got more damage himself, you think?
I think it's... One thing's for certain, though, is that he's getting kited a little bit, but that's less so because the heroes are running away. It's because he's getting hooked all the time, kind of thing. I think more damage would make a little bit more sense. With that being said, obviously, when he's out of ulti form, he's going to get kited. So I can see it either ways, and like he is dishing out a lot of damage, and not only that, but he's got a good team support for damage as well. So, like compare like the Soul Stealer and Wolf Beast, like Soul Stealer is like, all the damage on Hellborn's team, whereas Wolf Beast isn't. He's got the Madman to back him up. He's even got like some damage from the Midas as well as the Kinesis kind of as well. So I think the Frostwall score is okay, and I can understand its uses. Because when he comes out of ulti form, he'll need the Frostwolf to actually still be a presence in team fights. Otherwise, he's going to get kited outside of ulti form. So I think it's okay, and he is a lot more tanky now as well. So
yeah.
I think I'm cool with that.
You know, I was catching the corner of my eye right there, checking out the stream, catching up with the delay from that Conqueror fight, and you know, I happened to get on camera like the top corner, barely you could see the Conqueror happening, and you know, I see exactly what you're talking about, and that was beautiful. That's unfortunate. We're like that's something I want to go get back to the replay, man, and actually get like some video of it because that was beautiful.
So sick.
Between
but
them
the
right
best
there.
bit about that is that that could only have worked if it was in that sequence of events as well. Like Pharaoh had to ult in first, and then obviously because then he's down below in the corner to pick up the token. Because if Prisoner hooks him and Pharaoh doesn't hook down onto Warbeast, then one of Mint picks up the token anyway. Because Pharaoh hooks down and then Prisoner hooks back up the Warbeast, it made a lot more sense and made the team fight so well. So very, very clutch indeed.
That is kind of interesting. Quincy pointed that out right there. Pharaoh's actually second in hero damage. Now, again, Pharaoh's one of these heroes where he has a very spammable rocket that constantly do it. Hero damage adding up over time, to be fair, but
not in team fights.
it's still this later on in the game. Yeah, it's actually pretty impressive that he's up there.
He just doesn't scale. That's why I don't really like it. I think Prisoner will be doing a lot more work in team fights than Pharaoh. But what is that? Is the puzzle box level 3 yet? Oh, it is. So yeah, I mean, puzzle box level 3 on Pharaoh is what makes this hero like somewhat viable. I think it's very, very, very strong because the puzzle box is very, very strong, and obviously they're forced to attack. Well, not forced to attack the puzzle box, but you know, puzzle box are easy hits because of the wall from Pharaoh. So yeah. And it's still crazy how this game is still so close. Actually.
I know.
This is ridiculous.
We're on the same page with a lot of people right now. The fact that this game's still going on and it's honestly looking good for Team Who. I mean, they got a good shot here to actually take out Mint. And what is a one-game series once again? It's you only play each other once. So, and we keep stressing, sure, they're 0-2 coming into this, but if they win here, say you know, perfect scenario, they win here, they go 1-2, that would put Mint at 1-1 with one more game to go. And you know, again, being 1-2, there's still a good chance we might not move on, but mathematically there is that chance. So at least they would give themselves that hope. Whereas 0-3, obviously there is zero chance. So
who've been got to play next?
So Team Who would play. Well, no, who's done? So this is their final game. Mint would play Shrek is Love. They were going to play them, and so if that's
actually an easily losable game. That's a losable game as well.
Yeah, it's in a one-game series especially. I mean, that's what makes this format really cool.
If Mint go 1-2, does that mean they'd drop down because who actually beat them?
It completely depends, on the situation. In tiebreakers, yes, it does go to head-to-head matchups, and if like there's a three-way tie of 1 and 2s, then you know that would probably be the case. So let's not get too much into it because it's one of those things. Like when it happens, then we'll talk about it. But that's thinking a little too far ahead. But the point is that both of these teams, and you know, even Team Who at 0-2, is still technically has a chance. So, anyways. But the game itself, you know, at least we're getting just a good, solid game, and that's what really matters. So we talked about Warbeast. How about the Nullfire Blade pickup now level 2 on Madman?
I don't like it. Well, I mean, I like it, but Brutalizer would make 10 times more sense because they need extra lockdown on Solstice Light. I've mentioned this before, but I'm not even... On Madman, all you need is Strong and Brutalizer. You don't need any build-up. Like, you don't need Energizer. You don't really need Abyssal Skull. Obviously, that helps, but you just get Stronger and Brutalizer, and that hero becomes such a strong hero. And him going no Fireblade is cool and all, but he needs Brutalizer. Like, it's such a better item than Nullfly. You get the Nullfly after Brutalizer because it synergizes so well, obviously, with the Berserk. Because obviously, it's kind of similar with the Tremble and the Master of Arms. So when you play a Madman, you want to have items that proc kind of thing. So even the Thunderclaw, but mainly the Brutalizer and the Nullfire Blade. But Brutalizer especially, he has to pick up Brutalizer next time. Otherwise, he's just a really big noob. Like that. I'm surprised though, because I remember like back in Instant Respects, we always would talk about how Brutalizer on Madman is so strong, and yeah, he's picked up Nullfire Blade, so I'm disappointed.
Yeah, it's safe to say. I mean, I'm looking at here now. Nullfire, it does remove the Ophelia port, and we have seen that used several times here. And
true.
So maybe that's an ultimate idea. Of course, it works against the puzzle box minions as well. So there's definitely a reason for hell of barbed armor now in Prisoner. So there are several things that are pretty impactful to purge right here. To be fair.
But it's in team fights, like all you've got to do is just right-click the Soul Stealer, and then he's just locked down completely because you attack so fast, and obviously it goes through Shrunken Head as well, and it puts a lot more pressure onto the Soul Stealer if you go Brutalizer and just sit on him in team fights.
Oh my god, what a hook right there to start things off. Warbeast gets pulled in, but the team support is good to go. They react pretty quickly. Big burst of Serenia. Protectability comes out. It's going to be a good duration. Soul Stealer Silvers goes off, but again, the Shrunken Heads are up, absorbing most of the damage. Nobody dead just yet. Some way, somehow. Soul Stealer in the midst of that. Madman's actually dropping. He will go down. Cthulhu also getting low. Soul Stealer still well alive, and once again, Team Who coming out on top of this team fight. Unbelievable start for them with the hook. Warby's out to the side. He's going to be caught as well. He goes down, and Team Who, they are in complete fashion right now. It's a complete lead right now, you could say. And they are going to get Congo once again. This is a third Congo, I believe, too. Which means, and actually Soul Stealer, he's still chasing. He wants another kill. No, Kinesis with Portal Key just before. Are they going for the base?
Yeah, I think so. It makes makes more sense. It's the greedier or riskier option, but I think they can get racks though. Madman and Warbeast both do not have buybacks. So.
7,000 gold on Soul Stealer, by the way. Crazy, crazy stuff. Yeah, the hook to start things off. Warbeast was in an awkward spot that whole fight, and I think that was the biggest issue. I mean, I don't know how much damage he did overall in that fight, but it really could not have been much. Now, you see the middle lane, the range tracks goes down, and it's obviously the middle lane doing a good push with the creep wave, but yeah, they're going for the base. Sheepstick on a Soul Stealer right there. Takes the transmute. Going to be fine, though. As the Storm Spirit comes out, yeah, they don't have any of the buybacks, so understandable that Madman and Warbeast aren't coming up, as you mentioned right there, and they're going to lose a rack, so they go eye for an eye right here, as they're going to take out the melee racks mid themselves now. And the hook, oh, it hits right there. Actually pulls Midas back in. Big burst from Kinesis once again, though. Soul Stealer, he's put up in the air with the Storm Spirit, but now he's dropping. He's going to get away, though. Beautiful mummy walls right there to keep him alive. Walls.
Oh, knocked back Cthulhu there. Sort of stopped his portal key. That was... They're still chasing, though. Can they catch him? I don't know if they can. They're trying. No. They're going to back off. Yeah, really nice play, though, from Who. And they take the racks as well, which is just ridiculous. But it's just these... Oh, actually, Midas?
No one's back in now. Yeah, he's low on life, so wanted to try to make something happen right there. But this is why you probably didn't want to make something out here, because... There was a little bit of a bait coming out. Now Prisoner, can he get the Parped armor up? No, he cannot. The Purge, actually, he did, but the Purge came out. Protected Melody will save a little bit of damage. Soul Stealer runs in, though. Soul Stealer with the Symbol of Rage now, by the way. He's healing back up to full life. Warbeast is here, though, into the ulti form, and Soul Stealer realizes that, trying to get back for the time being. So, again, he doesn't have a symbol currently, and actually he gets trampled right here. Now he's in a lot of trouble. Has that Wingbow, though. No fire blade comes out. Here comes Pharaoh to try to save the day. You see, couldn't really do much damage. The evasion's coming out, so the Wingbow proved to be pretty big right there, and they do take out Midas. Warbeast doesn't have an ulti for him. He's now on the run, and he's in trouble, actually. Warbeast made a fall right here. He's going to go toe-to-toe with him and doesn't have the ulti for him, so we've got a big difference not having that. He's going for Pharaoh, actually. May get him. He will, but at a cost. He goes down. Really didn't have a choice, to be fair. Might as well take somebody with him, but again, another hold for Team Who. And a little bit of overextension from Mint right there does not work out for them, and now this could be a Kongor.
And I have to admit, this Brutalizer not picked up on Madman is actually really hurting them. If he has a Brutalizer there, he can just man up until he dies, and at least he's going to do something. But in that team fight there, he was sort of skirting around the team fight and just wasn't dishing out a lot of damage, honestly. The Pharaoh hooked in and sort of obviously disjointed the team fight a little bit. But he's just that Brutalizer not having it is, I think, it's really hurting them because he can't lock anyone down, can't really dish out too much damage either. When the Strungan is being popped from Soul Stealer, the Nullfire proc doesn't even occur anyway. And he hasn't farmed too well either, so he can't even buy a Brutalizer at this time, and it's nearly 60 minutes into the game, unfortunately.
Oh, Serenia, he's trying to pick off Rhapsody. He used the bananas! Oh my gosh, he used the bananas right before the burst came out. Or maybe right as it was happening, and he stays alive back to full life. Oh, that was fun. That was bananas, right? I mean, he burst healed, yeah. So that was pretty crazy. And he stays alive against us. Randy trying to get a I will say this, that this game has just been one of these games where, we've given it criticism, and I think it's safe to say for good reason, but it's this is just one of those games where it's like, you know what, they may be doing something that not a lot of people agree with as far as builds and Soul Stealer specifically, but it's working, and the W in the end is what matters. So they're making us look like idiots here. And, hey, that's good for them, though. That it's working for them, definitely. But, yeah, the Brutalizer, I definitely think you do have a really strong point right there, and not being on Madman. Missing out some good damage. Cthulhu Fawn, he's going to be pulled and actually caught Madman as well. I don't even know if he's intending to do that. Not going to be enough follow-up damage, though. But you could just tell the train is rolling, man, in favor of Team Who right here. And they are not slowing that train down. 5,300 gold. By the way, Soul Stealer rebought the Shrunken. It's now 10 seconds once again. Using some of that gold. But look at his farm, man. Is now up to, what, 634 gold per minute. They're going to push him bottom. I mean, are they doing it right here? Could this actually be the game?
Looks like it. There's no buyback on Cthulhu. They're going to go top as well. And I mean, they have to defend. They absolutely have to defend. But I don't know how they're going to kill Soul Stealer with Token as well as Symbol of Rage right now.
Yeah, it's the token, the symbol, 6,200.
Oh!
It's one of those cases. Oh, what a hook again. Slavsky really showing that we're going to start paying attention to him, apparently, on these hook heroes especially. Midas, in the meantime, he's getting caught out. Madman just doing the barrel roll there, trying to scare them off. But, you know, they don't have the initiative. They don't have Cthulhu. He's going to stay dead. Mudwall's in the background, actually. Pharaoh will go down right off the bat. He caught Warbeast, though. Warbeast doesn't have his ulti form up just yet. He had to use it to try to get away earlier. Madman, he's just melts right there, the auto attacks. And I think Team Who's going to pull it off. They're going to pull off a huge upset here over Fresh. And as a result, they're going to finish 1 and 2 in the group stages. And they're going to put Fresh at 1-1 right here as the quad kill comes out for Jim Carrey. Hey, you might get the annihilation here to finish it off even. The Soul Burst, it goes off. Couple more auto attacks. No, he stalks away. Going to be fine for the time, but he wants that annihilation, though, so badly. Cthulhu comes in. Soulshare, though, he's going to be gone on. You know, he pops a shrunken head. He has a token, so might wanted to save that shrunken head, to be fair. I mean, maybe it's I'm getting a little too ahead of myself. Again, this game isn't over just yet. Soul Stealer is going to fall right here. Token's going to be popped. Can he actually portal key away with it? No, he's not able to do so, and now he has to stand his ground right here. Again, doesn't have the symbol, doesn't have Shrunken. He does have Geometer's Bane, but no, Sheepstick right after. And he's being locked down right here. He's staying alive, but not long enough, and he will go down. So, okay, I got a little too ahead of myself, honestly. I mean, this game's not over just yet. They are still going to hold in there, and they still have somewhat of a chance.
Yeah, they hold. There's obviously this. Man, it also has 8.5k thousand, or 8.5 thousand gold though at the moment. But yeah, that's definitely not over it. It's because that Mint, on paper, they have the better scaling team. The Madman, the War Beast, obviously the Sheepsticks on the Midas, and looking to get one on the Cthulhu as well. The game's not over, but I mean, I don't want to criticize obviously Akami too much, but like the Brutalizer and his farm is just very, very poor. Like it's nearly 60 minutes into the game, and this Madman is still 312 GPM. From kind of what he's was at the start, and you have to have higher GPM at this sort of stage in the game, honestly.
Yeah.
Because he's just not a threat in the late game. Really isn't. Like if he has a Brutalizer, then he's a threat, but without it, he just really isn't. Actually,
yeah, they're going to catch Cthulhu right here, and look at that damage to follow the amp damage from Ophelia being applied. Midas, in the meantime, he also got on. Cthulhu will live. Midas also kind of squirting on out of there, so a little bit slippery. And it is enough to get away, but now they're just completely on the run right here. They're looking for a turn chance. Warbeast in the flank. He has the ulti, not going to pop it just yet. Pops the battle cry first. He's going to need the ultiform here, though. It's just, there we go. Ultiform comes out, prisoner. No, they're protected by it. It stopped immediately, though. Port back onto Ophelia. They want to send her back. Pops the Void Talisman as well. She is going to be fine, I believe. Not the same for Cthulhu, but look at that right there. Portal key sold by Soul Stealer, and he buys a Savage Mace. So finally, the damage comes out. The true damage. But now, holy crap. I mean, you look at the items that he has. I mean, not necessarily agreeing on the way he went with it, but again, it worked out. That's what matters. He has them now altogether.
Now the items make all the sense. Like, now it's got his 6 minutes. Now he's got these items. These are the items, obviously, he wants to have. Like, now he can go toe-to-toe with Probus. Now he's got the damage, obviously, and the wing bow is paying off massive dividends as well, because there's no Savage Mace picked up here from Mint. That could obviously be a little bit of a criticism here on the side of, obviously, Probus. He went the Frost Sword instead of the Savage. And the wing bow from Soul Stealer is really paying off. And one thing actually we haven't really flirted with the idea yet, but is the Resto Stone on War Beast is something that Keizu has always talked about. I remember he used to talk about it all the time. And it makes sense though. Obviously, double Shrunken Head, double Metamorphosis, for example. It seems a little bit troll, it seems a little bit sort of worthwhile, but when Warbeast does not have the ulti form, he's weak and very, very lackluster in the team fights. And I think the biggest reason of why Probus picked up the Frostwolf Skull is to be a presence when you don't have your ultimate, for example. But if you have Resto Stone, you always have your ultimate, regardless of how long the team fight kind of lasts. Which could be sort of a little bit critical, but it's something that would have been maybe interesting to see nonetheless. But they need a Savage, though, to deal with this Soul Stealer. Madman is too under farm to really buy one now, and he still needs a Brutalizer. Just this Nullfire Blade, like it wouldn't be as bad if he had like maybe 400 GPM, because he would have the Brutalizer and the Nullfire Blade, and it wouldn't have been as punished as it is. But with him not having the Brutalizer, like he doesn't do anything in team fights. Whereas if he had a Brutalizer, he would, kind of thing. But he probably needs a Savage Mace now as well, because Soul Stealer is just so tanky, and they don't have the burst damage to kill him. So
yeah,
it's gonna be difficult.
Again, I know you're stuck on that Nullfire point. I will say, when he did go for it, this game was still, it seemed like that they were in the lead and things were going pretty well for them. So maybe that had something to do with that mindset too. Of they didn't necessarily feel like they needed that extra damage. Yeah. They needed instead that purge effect, which again we said is useful, but
no, you're right.
Different story now though, is where it states. So
definitely
they need that damage.
they're closing in on the Sheepstick and Cthulhu, and maybe that's where their burst potential can be. Maybe on. Oh, actually, they're going in though. Top lane.
Well, Farrell's going in at least. Yeah, here's the team support now. He catches Kinesis. Finally, we'll get the team support in here. You see Kinesis just trying to get out there. Prison break. It's going to hold. No, it's not going to pull them back in, though. As a nice spread comes out. Meanwhile, they're going back in. Where's Warbeast throughout all this? He's dropping, actually. He does have the Shrunken Head up, but not getting in much right clicks. He will end up falling in the end. He has a buyback. Probably going to use it immediately as he does. But again, now he doesn't have the ulti form right here. As Soulstealer standing his ground. He's going to follow, it looks like. No, never mind. What was I saying? I was looking at the illusion right there. So he's fine and able to fight them off. Midas does get pulled in with the hook. Midas dropping shortly after that. Those right clicks, the Savage Maze procs. And now I think the end is near right here in favor of Team Who. In goes Lifeslang, go, trying to make something happen. Warbeast dies again, though, and that should be the nail in the coffin right here. Soulstealer just right-clicking like a boss. Too much damage. There's the Soul Burst coming out. Midas will fall again. Vote to concede,
man.
and GG, well played. Team Who defeats Mitt here in a one-game series. Quite the upset. Congratulations to them, man. That was well played.
Definitely.
And hey, we didn't agree with some item choices and the way they did it maybe, but that's good. They stood their ground, and they made it work, and they got the W. Again, that's what matters. So congratulations to them.
Yeah, a very, very interesting game. Really cool to see, actually, and watch. Very, very enjoyed that game myself. But, yeah, just the team fight from Who, like, even though they didn't have the greatest sort of scaling carries, like, all they had was Soulstealer, but the work and the team fight presence, that Prisoner, Pharaoh, Rhapsody, as well as the Affiliate, just was too strong, it felt like. Obviously, we talked about the Brutalizer and Madman. I think that hurt. But not only that, it's just like his farm's so low, though. 304 GPM. Like it needs to be higher than that, because at the end of the game, it was like 60 minutes in, and all he has to show is a Strong Head and Nullfire Blade, and that's not good enough, honestly. You pick up Madman to be like your second carry, or at least your recovering carry, and maybe Mint didn't prioritize a lot of farm on the Madman, but regardless, you need to be doing a lot more than that, unfortunately, and he didn't. But yeah, Who just. That was crazy comeback, man. That Kongor fight especially was the big turning point. So, yeah, congrats to Who.
Yeah, that was big plays by them indeed coming out from Team Who. That was fun to watch, as you said, a 60-minute game, and we had some hell of a. Again, you think about that Kongor fight. So, where it turned, man. That just where it really turned for Team Who. And again, we kind of caught in the corner of the camera right there of Pharaoh taking the token as a big hook from Sasuke came out, and yeah, well played. They got to be feeling pretty good now. Again, kind of the unfortunate thing for them is that they are still in a tough